Tanya Chua and the song Yellow, of course, a very wonderful cover. The original by Coldplay, but I think she did a fantastic job on that. I'm here in the studio at Orchard Central, coming to you live. It's me, Lavinia, joined with Artisan Chocolatier, then Chui Foong from Jules, my next door neighbor. And this is really a work perk. I've got, a chocolate place just next to me. I step out and I get to see all the chocolate, smell all the chocolate. I do love my life. I do love my job. Okay, so we have an interesting story that you have to share about macaroons, which really points out at about, I wouldn't, the kind of greater discovery, I would say, that all of us Singaporeans could actually partake in to discover more about really the origins of food and the significance of that. So what is the story of macaroons? You had a colleague.
Okay, the story of macaron is that one day I share it with one of my colleague, which is many years in the F&B line, and then she was like, "Oh, this is not macaron. Macaron is supposed to be crunchy," and I'm like, I'm having a shock actually, because macarons, for me, I'm lucky enough that when I work in Paris, I work in La Jury, which is the first shop that started macarons, and the original texture of a macaron should be a light crust outside and meaty in the center and soft. Yeah, so when people tell me that so far they have tried a lot of macaron which is crunchy, and I will be it will be very shocking for me, because people do not know about the originality, texture, and what is the history behind a macaron.
Yeah, I think that's not as bad as, if it's okay if you don't know the history or the origins of food, but I think it's funny how they insist that, the crunchy macaroon is the right one. They just insist because that's what they've always known, And then here you are trying to point out that, no, actually, the true origins of it is as such. You can still have your crunchy macaroon, but this is how a real macaroon, how it originated from, based on your experience. And how cool that you've actually traveled around the world, worked at all these prestigious, places, establishments, I would actually call them, and learned all these skills. So the macaroons that you've brought here today, sorry, I took a bite into it.
This is our Black Palm Island salt macaroon. Black Palm Island salt is a type of salt from Hawaiian volcano.
Wow.
Yes. So this is a very interesting salt, and what we like to share is that there's different kind of salt. And then giving out different type of saltiness, and then we actually added salted egg inside to give to bring it closer to a Singaporean's palate.
Oh, now I'm noticing the yellow thing that's kind of sticking out right now. You got me, man, because I have to say that I don't like century egg, but this is actually really nice.
Thank you.
The saltiness is very subtle, but it lends for a very interesting taste as well, very interesting experience, because I wouldn't associate like saltiness with a macaroon. I'm so used to having them kind of sweet. You tricked me. I think
traditional macarons meant to be sweet because the basic ingredient is actually sugar, almond, and egg white. So it's actually very, very sweet traditionally. So to have our own version, which is a lower in sugar content, you actually can taste the really original
flavors of all the other ingredients.
The ingredient that we have sandwiched in between.
You tricked me. I have to say that if century egg is going to be served like that and it tastes like that, I might actually start eating it more often. Thanks for that. Okay. And also, there's this whole thing about, nowadays everyone is actually more well-traveled. They're kind of like indulging in more experiences. I've heard of like friends of friends, they have decided, okay, I'm going to take 3 months, I'm going to go over to to France and to Paris, and I could do a 3-month kind of cooking course, and then they come back, they go, okay, yes, I am a chef, that kind of thing. How do you take to like these kind of
I think it's always a wonderful experience if you really have the opportunity to work overseas. And at the end of the day, when you come back, you still have to practice the skill to perfect it. And to a good skill is that you have to really practice it every day to perfect it and to realize different technique.
Yeah. So I think you've mentioned to me before that when you were training, And like the first few years even, you would just be given one task, right?
Yes.
One task,
You have to repeat
very
it.
mundane, like
Yep.
what is it called, packing or like creaming or something like that. Just
Yes.
that one task, and that was all you did, day in, day out, right?
Yes.
In order for you to really understand
Exactly.
the process of it. And that's the thing, you see, because nowadays it's like, we're society, we've become a world in need of instant gratification. I don't know if we have the patience. And you've actually told me that when you were training someone, this guy, he was assigned to just do creaming or something like that.
Yep.
And he refused because he said, no, this is
Yep.
boring. I can't do it day in, day out. And he complained, right? And he
Yes,
pulled
it
himself out
actually
of it.
complained because they will feel that if today you let me do creaming, and if you continue to let me do creaming for the next 2 days or next 5 days, that means you are actually ill treating me.
Oh dear. Okay. So yeah, I guess that kind of makes me, realize that you stand out apart from the rest, because it's really an art for you, because you're training yourself day in, day out. You've
Yep.
gone through years of carrying out even the most mundane task and perfecting it.
Yes.
Yeah, so even your creaming is probably really good, I presume. Yeah, but I get the idea now, about how every time when we bite into one of your chocolate creations, it's indulging in all those years of training yourself up. And even up to today, you still feel that you have a long ways to go and lots more to perfect and innovate and also train up on and gain experience. In just a while, you have to stay tuned, because we're going to let you know about some cool creations created specifically for Chinese New Year. And I love how you've kind of blended, the elements of, the Lunar New Year into your chocolate art. So stay tuned for that to hear from Chui Foong in just a while, right here on Lush 99.5. We're going to hear from Elvin and the song Our Love Is Here to Stay.
Go with the flow.